just woke up. What? Minitoon just dropped there's a new skin? Oh my gosh, this is amazing. What is that? Kona the Klipspringer. What the heck is a Klipspringer? Seriously though, what the flip is a Klipspringer? Oh, I hope it's just some gnarly killer animal from like the bottom of the ocean or something. I have seriously zero clue 30. Klipspringer. Wait, what? Aw, it's adorable. I was not expecting that. Anyways, welcome back, DE fam. As you may have seen in recent weeks, some of my concept skins have been floating around YouTube on my good friend Krieg's channel and my brother, the Red Ninja.
Zizzy, that really hurt.
Well, let's take this and let's turn it into a skin. So let's grab the image that Minitoon gave us. Let's crop it. Let's bring up the colors a little bit. Let's get some detail out of it. All right, let's drop the highlights, bring up the shadows. Let's bring up the clarity a little bit too. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Now we can see the details a little bit more. What's he holding? Oh my gosh. All right, it looks like he's holding a welder. Ooh, he's got welder's goggles on. Whoa, all right. All right, cool. So he's a Klipspringer that's a welder. And that's what he's doing right now. He's welding. So it looks like he's probably an ex-crewmate. Look at his shirt. He's got his shirt rolled up. He's wearing a white shirt underneath, or he's got white arms. I'm not sure. All right, so I think I'm gonna have to make a shirt for this because it looks like that is a custom shirt. Or a decal. Minitoon's also thrown decals over his arms before in his R6 characters. I'll make a shirt and I'll make it available for you guys, and I'll leave a description on the link here. All right, so let's start bringing in some parts here. It looks like it's got some. It looks like it. I mean, it's pretty much looks like a Kenneth. I mean, you could take Kenneth and rebuild him. It's super easy, but we're gonna build it from scratch. If you guys have never built a Piggy skin before, this is very true to your typical Book 2 skin looks like. So let's get into it. Let's build ourselves a Kona. I'm just gonna grab all the basic parts we need here. We're gonna need a sphere, a cylinder, a wedge here, and a block, and it looks like we're gonna need a hard hat too. So that looks like a basic ROBLOX hard hat. We're just gonna have to find the right texture and right color to let this fit. It looks like he's a crewmate here. Definitely wearing a crewmate stuff. So we'll give this guy a crewmate orange. We'll make it a smooth plastic. Maybe even shiny. Let's make it like foil or metal. I don't know. Might change the color too much. Oh yeah, look at that. That's way too gold, and it's definitely not fabric or wood. All right. Here we go. Let's just stick to smooth plastic. We've got our hard hat out of the way. Now let's get into the build itself. All right, so let's build ourselves a head. If you're using the new ROBLOX base plate, it is super awesome because it has this little grid here. And for just easy reference here, let's use let's fill up one of these little corners here. So let's grab our sphere. Let's resize it pretty much the inside of here. We can always resize it later. This might be a tad bit smaller, but you can always make your model bigger. You can't always make it smaller though. So let's just err on the side of caution and make it just a tad bit smaller. All right, now let's build the main part of the head. This part might seem a little confusing, but just pay close attention. I'll walk you right through it. It shouldn't be a big deal at all. All right, so take that main head that we made, duplicate it, bring it down a little bit. Now we're gonna scoot this over to where we can get ourselves a smooth line going across the bottom here. If it's crooked or off-centered, it's gonna have a jagged line. If you see now, you see that nice smooth line. That's what we want. Go up to the top, turn that sphere into a negate, and then we're gonna group these together. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna cut right into there. But before we do that, let's make a couple more spots here because we're gonna need to make 3 holes. These next 2 are gonna be for the eyes, but before we do that, let's turn this into the color we want because that just makes it a lot easier before we actually group it and cut into it if we want, or if we have it, the material and the color that we want. So we're gonna make this kind of a goldish, brownish, orangish color, just kind of, yeah, I mean, I think that looks good, right? Yeah, that looks good. We're pretty much kind of copying not Felix. We're gonna copy Kenneth's color because I think this guy pretty much looks like a Kenneth. I don't know if maybe they're related. Kenneth's a kangaroo and this is a Klipspringer, so maybe not. I don't know. The colors look the same. We can always go back and adjust it when Minitoon actually drops the skin, but for now, all we have is this picture. And so we're just kind of just theorizing right now. This is literally, I don't even think it's gonna be 12 hours after Minitoon's tweet by the time this video posts. Okay, so grab these two spheres. We're gonna make about the same size. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry, a little bit bigger than what the eyeballs were gonna be because the eyes are gonna fit inside of there. Once you have it lined up pretty good, you can kind of just judge it from looking at it. Maybe you can grab somebody and compare it next to you. You're gonna group these together. It's gonna cut inside and now you're gonna have this weird looking thing. Grab your other sphere, bring it up. You're gonna have to make it a little bit smaller. Otherwise it's gonna poke out the side there. And if it pokes out the side, it's not gonna look nearly as good. You're gonna wanna line it up. You're gonna wanna make it just a tad bit smaller than the part that's cut. You don't wanna have it too deep. Otherwise there's gonna be too deep of a gap there. It's gonna sink in too far. Bring the nose part up here, the mouth part. You want to stick it just below the eyes, but above the cut line there. Now for speed purposes, let's just grab this, duplicate it, make ourselves an eyeball. We should probably swap out the actual material here for something a little bit more smooth like ice. That way it's a little bit more reflective. Lining it up is probably the most difficult part. You really want to take your time and actually get it lined up. Otherwise, your guy might look a little constipated or slightly derpy. So take your time with the eyeballs. Trust me, take your time with the eyeballs. Now, if you have not already, make sure you go download the new textures because they are amazing. Now, the reason Minitoon won't use the new textures is because the ice just looks horrible. I personally love ice. I have the new textures, but I keep the old ice because the old ice is nice. Stick with the old ice. Don't get the new ice. The new ice looks like a burnt Barbie. Seriously, have you seen it? It's horrible. All right, so here, let's just duplicate the eyeball here, bring it over. Usually I don't do it like this. Usually I build out one eye, then I duplicate it, but I guess we'll just do it like this. I mean, the whole point is right now, I'm trying to do it fast. There's no time to look back. I have already committed to making two separate eyeballs, just like, oh, no. So studio crashed. I lost last 5 minutes of work. So let's just fast forward the eyes. Yeah. And let that be a lesson to always save your work. Or have autosave on, like I did, which goes every 5 minutes. So that way you only lose 5 minutes at a time. All right, now we're moving on to the nose, guys. Where the nose is made out of a couple of cylinders and a square part. So let's just try to find a decent size here for reference. Let's slap it up against the nose here and look at it. It's starting to look like an actual animal. Oh, it kind of looks more like a reindeer now at this point with that little round nose. It is very, very cute. All right, duplicate your cylinder, then duplicate it again and turn that part into a block, and that will keep it around the same size. It'll save you a little step there in resizing. Then you're going to want to complete the middle there. It kind of turns it into more of a squared off oval there by having that extra part. Otherwise, there's going to be an up and a down. You have to fill that gap there. That's the whole purpose of having the extra part inside of there. And then once you get lined up, kind of just squeeze it together, find the right sizing, and look at the top there because you want the end of the part to line up with the middle of the cylinder. Then that way it gives it that little smooth off look. I mean, it's not 100% important that you get it perfect, but the smoother, the better. Now grab all those three pieces and turn them into a union. That way when you go to resize them, you're not resizing one more than the other and throwing it all off, and then turn it into, or rename it nose. That way you know what it's called. Let's tilt it a little bit and kind of make it lined up with the mouth there. Hit Control L, that way you can move it across the axis without it going at a diagonal, line there, since it is tilted. Sorry, I'm kind of stumbling here with my words. Okay, let's bring another cylinder in here, because now we are going to tackle the whiskers. So make it not quite as thin as it can go, but pretty thin. And then I think, it goes a little bit further back here. Yes, let's make it just like that. Let's bring it in just a little bit on the inside of the head as far as the width is concerned. And then just try to get it as even as possible. Then the next part is actually pretty easy. What you're going to do is you're going to duplicate it, and then you're going to hit Control 4, and then you're going to just tilt it. Probably, I don't know how many degrees. That's, what's that? 16.7 degrees to the left. Duplicate it, do 16.9 degrees to the right, and voila! Now you have some whiskers. All right, now let's not waste any time at all. Let's steal one of those whiskers, and let's make ourselves some welding goggles. It looks like welding goggles. I mean, it looks like he's holding a welder there. So this should be relatively easy. We're just going to make it about the same size as the eyeball. And that's why I was saying earlier, it's like, there's really no point in making eyeballs. You can skip that step if you like. If you don't want to make eyeballs, you don't have to make eyeballs because you're not going to see them anyways. But if you do go down that path, just make sure that the glass is not transparent, so that way you don't see that there are no eyeballs. All right, that looks good. That looks about a good size. All right, now it looks like there's maybe 2 of them, all right, and silver on the end there. Okay, so let's bring this out. Then we're going to duplicate it, and then we'll resize it and make it slightly bigger than the one above it as far as the circumference goes. And the length will make it slightly shorter. Then you can see that it's there. Then we should probably grab those 2 cylinders, split them. We'll duplicate it, make them shorter on each side, because we're going to have one side black, and then we're going to have one side a different color. All right, perfect. Oh, wait, hold on. Do not, no, I need to break that up because they're going to be 2 different colors. Okay, that looks good. All right, good. Now let's duplicate the part again. We're going to make ourselves a negate piece, because we're going to cut right through there. We're going to make this thing hollow. Now, here's the thing. If you are cutting through if you're negating these and turning into union, they all have to be the same material. Otherwise, you can't have something neon and something plastic, or something metal and something smooth plastic, because it's just going to pick one and your whole union is going to be that one. So luckily we're all working with all metal here, so we don't have to have multiple pieces. So that looks about lined up good. All right, let's grab these, union them, and now you have a hole in the inside. Look at that. Okay, now let's wait a minute. Nope, I got to change the color real quick. This is more of a gray. Let's do black. All right, and let's see what this looks like. Oh yeah, look at that. Now the next part we're gonna do is we're gonna do the lens. You don't want to grab a normal sphere for this, because a normal sphere you can't resize the way we need to. A normal sphere is gonna resize like proportionately. We want to flatten this, because we're gonna make it a lens, just like that. All right, so let's grab it. Let's make it around the same size as the inside diameter. You don't want to have it poking out, because it's going to be a different texture. You want it to look like the actual lens of the goggles here, and you want it just on the inside here. Perfect. Look at that. All right, now let's go and let's change this to a different color, blue, and turn it to glass. Change the transparency. So I usually like to keep it around 70, and then add a little reflection to it. It's too clear. Doesn't look aggressive enough. Let's make it black, and let's change the reflection a little bit more. That looks better. That looks better. No, let's change it to blue. Blue better? Is blue better? Yeah, blue's better. Okay, good. That looks good. Very cool. Very futuristic looking. All right, cool. Now let's name this goggles, and we're gonna duplicate it. Then we're gonna. There you go. Now you've got your goggles. Perfect. Well, goggles. There you go. Now let's bring it up to the face, and let's move it left to right, and we're good. That looks good. We'll make just some slight adjustments just to make sure that it's even and it's in the right spot. But for the most part, that looks pretty good. Let's do the ears and the hair now. I think that's called hair. I don't know what it is exactly. Oh, wait, what's going on? Oh, I thought it was failing again. I was like, no way, you are not going to fail on me again. Studio crashes on me all the time. Sometimes I lose 5 minutes of work. Sometimes I lose 5 hours worth of work. So it's very frustrating. Make sure you're always saving your work. All right, let's go down here to the grid. You guys can use my sizing over here. This just makes it a little bit easy for you. That way you're not making something the size of the head, and you're like, oh no, this is all just for reference. So just keep my video open next to you while you're making this, and you can kind of peek back and forth and kind of get the sizing right. All right, so let's grab this. Let's bring in a cylinder here. We're gonna flip it on its axis here, smash it down, and what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make these little, I don't know what shape this would be called. I don't think it actually is a shape. Maybe a teardrop looking kind of thing. Teardroppy. We're gonna line this up here. Let's just get it the same size. You want it to be nice and smooth, and then perfect. There you go. All right, let's line this up. What we want to do is we're going to make ourselves a little teardrop here. So let's grab this. Let's flip it around, and it's a little bit too wide. So let's delete that, and then we'll make one size the right size. Then we'll duplicate it and bring it over instead of trying to resize both. Otherwise, you have a better chance of having 2 different sized triangles. So there you go. See, I just flipped it on its axis and then spun it around on horizontal. So yeah, both axes is here. And then you can resize it going on the inside one piece at a time. Then you'll make sure that it's 100% even. Otherwise, it'll just look weird. It won't look good at all. There you go. And then once, oh, nope, that needs to come out just a little bit. You see that? You see that little line there? You want to line it up as best as you can. Otherwise, you'll have a little line right there. I guess I probably should try to ignore that and not make it perfect because we're going for speed here. We're not going for 100% accuracy. I'll go back and I'll make a better one after this. But this is just to show you guys how to make it yourself. Let's change the color and let's change the material. There we go. And then after we do that, we'll turn it into a union. That way we can resize it evenly and it's easier. You're not moving parts around. Just like that, you swap it around. We'll use this grid here as a reference. Bring it up again and just tilt it just a little bit, just like that. All right, bring it over this way. And you could try to eyeball it or not because it's not going to look good. Grab it, flip it horizontal, flip it vertical, and then it should look like that. All right, good. Now let's make some ears. What do the ears look like? Are they pointy? Nope. Those are round. Those are round ears. All right, so we're going to want to grab ourselves a cylinder. Yeah, it looks like it's round. Yep, definitely round. Okay. Grab ourselves a cylinder here. You can just grab, you can take this one here, break it apart real quick, steal the piece, which is probably the easiest way to do it because then it's going to be the same thickness. Let's grab this one here so we don't have to find the right axis there. There we go. Now grab the color, change the texture to smooth plastic. Then let's grab all these. Let's turn it into a union. That way we don't mess up the arrangement there. We don't want to slide one to the left or the right and just ruin all that measuring and hard work that we did. Let's turn this one into a block. That way it stays the same height. We don't have to worry about resizing. Just save ourselves a step there as far as the green axis. Then we just have to resize the left and the right. I'm sorry, the right and left. You know what I meant. Whatever. The red and the blue. Okay, cool. So let's grab those. Let's turn it into a union. Then we're going to duplicate it, bring it up slightly. That way it's slightly above, and then resize it just a little bit to bring it on the inside. Try to make it as even as possible, just like this. Go ahead and change the color to white, and then we have ourselves a 2-tone ear, just like that. All right, let's grab these, and I'm gonna union these together so we don't ruin the arrangement. Then I'm gonna duplicate it. Then what we have to do here is we're gonna hit Control for it, spin it to the left here, tilt it to the left, I'm sorry. That looks good. Duplicate it. Now tilt it to the other side. Then we're gonna slide it over to the right on the blue axis, and actually that lined up pretty good. So let's turn this into a union. Now we can bring it over here, flip it, and let's line it up. There we go. Hey, look at that. Oh my God, it's a little too big. Let's make it a little smaller. Like I said before, it's always better to try to resize upwards, not downwards. Luckily there, we didn't run into any issues. Okay, now let's tilt it forward a little bit, just like in the picture. And hey, we've got ourselves a not a Klipspringer. What's it called? A Klipspringer. Klipspringer. Look at that. All right, let's throw the hat on here. And we've got ourselves a head, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I saved the troubles of showing you guys how to bring in a body. I'm sure you guys are all aware of how you can do that, or how you can just take one and grab one and copy it. It's pretty much just a boy body. So I took the monocle here. We're gonna make ourselves a torch real quick, or a welder. We have all the parts we need right there inside of the goggles that we made. We're just gonna resize them. And I think we're just gonna need one more part. We're probably gonna need a cone. All right, so I skip forward a little bit. I went ahead and I built the whole thing. And then right when I went to go group it together, Studio failed once again. So I had to build it twice. The second time I built it faster. So that's the version I'm gonna show you. All right, so what you didn't see is I brought in a... All right, I'm back. What you didn't see is I brought in an element here. I just went in Studio Marketplace and I found electricity. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna take these particles and we're gonna edit them. And we're gonna make it smaller and we're gonna slow it down. That way it looks more like a welding stream than a big ball of energy like it does right now. So rather than explain that whole thing, you can just kind of peek there into the properties and see how I did that. All right, let's make this clear because we do not want to see that. So we change the transparency to 1. All right, let's change the direction. There we go, squeeze it down a little bit. And now it looks like a welder. Yeah, it looks like a plasma cutter. Who knows? It could be a plasma cutter. Makes more sense actually, because a plasma cutter can actually cut right through you, or a welder is not really gonna do much. It's just gonna burn you a little bit. Makes more sense to slice through you. Oh, I can imagine that the jump scare is gonna sound like a sizzle. Almost like Badgie's lightsaber, which is acid that it breaks above you. I thought it was a lightsaber until Antics had me on his show and it sounded like it was acid. I don't know. That was embarrassing, by the way. Okay. We're just rearranging the size of these cylinders here. That's pretty much it. And we're going to make a hand. Whoops. We're going to make a handle here. Make this part stick out just a little bit more. So pretty much, yeah, we're just resizing and rearranging the thing here. It almost looks like a thermometer. And now we have ourselves a Kona, the Klipspringer, the Klipspringer, whatever, however you say it. Now, the last thing you have to do is you just have to weld the head to your body, make sure everything is rigged up correctly, and then you can go ahead and animate your very own Kona. Make sure you guys tag me with your builds so I can check them out. If I get enough of them, I'll rate them. I'll give you guys a review. Later, guys.